Hello, everyone, dear viewers of the channel. I am Helena, the Guardian of Secrets, a researcher of mystical phenomena, and here with me is Vadim, a historian interested in folk culture.
And together, we are delving into the enigmatic depths of Ukrainian folklore. Today, Helena, your introduction hinted at something particularly sinister: the Black Monastery, Forgotten Sanctuaries of Evil. That's quite a title. Are we talking about specific historical locations or more of a conceptual space?
Oh, Vadim, it's both and so much more. When I speak of black monasteries, I'm not always referring to actual ecclesiastical institutions, though some legends do claim such. More often, it's a metaphor for places where darkness gathered, where ancient, pre-Christian forces were invoked, twisted, or perhaps even worshipped. These are the forgotten sanctuaries of evil, sites where the veil between our world and the shadowy realms was said to be perilously thin, places of immense, malevolent energy.
Intriguing. So we're venturing into the realm of what might be considered, for lack of a better term, dark sacred sites. From a historical perspective, many early Christian monasteries were built on or near pagan sites, sometimes to assimilate, sometimes to suppress. Could these black monasteries be a folk memory or a demonization of ancient pre-Christian sanctuaries that simply practiced rituals unfamiliar or frightening to later populations?
Precisely, Vadim. That's where the lines blur, and where the true horror often lies. Imagine a place hidden deep in the ancient forests or tucked away in forgotten ravines, known only to a select few. Legends tell of priests or sorcerers, sometimes even renegade monks, who, instead of seeking divine light, sought to harness the primal, untamed forces of the earth, often for unspeakable purposes. These places were believed to be gateways, not to paradise, but to the infernal.
So rather than sanctuaries for spiritual enlightenment, they were perceived as gathering points for malevolent power. What kind of stories are associated with them? Are we talking about pacts with dark entities, rituals of sacrifice, or curses? Because historically, many marginalized groups or those with non-conforming spiritual practices were often branded as evil or demonized by the dominant religious narrative.
All of that and more, Vadim. I've encountered tales of places where strange guttural chants would echo from forgotten caves, where the earth itself seemed to weep black ichor, and where travelers who dared to venture too close simply vanished, leaving no trace. One legend speaks of a specific black monastery. Perhaps a more accurate term would be a dark hermitage, hidden in the Carpathian foothills. Locals whisper that on nights of the new moon, spectral figures, neither alive nor truly dead, would gather there, their eyes glowing with an ancient, hungry malevolence. They say that the very air around it caused a profound dread, a chilling sense of being utterly alone in the face of consuming darkness.
That's a powerful image, Helena, and it certainly evokes a strong emotional response. However, my historian's mind immediately seeks a tangible anchor. Could these stories be rooted in real phenomena, perhaps specific geological features that caused eerie sounds, or isolated communities practicing rites that were genuinely frightening to outsiders, or even social outcasts, fugitives, or groups of hermits who lived apart and became targets of fearful rumors due to their reclusive nature? Fear of the unknown is a potent force for generating myth.
You're not wrong, Vadim. Fear is undoubtedly a primal ingredient in such tales. But what if the fear isn't just internal? What if these places truly hold a lingering resonance of past atrocities, of powerful intentions twisted into something truly dark? I believe that human actions, especially those involving intense emotion, be it devotion, suffering, or malevolence, can imprint on a place. The energy of 1,000 curses, of forbidden rituals, doesn't just dissipate, it lingers.
Intriguing from an ethnological perspective. So for you, these aren't just stories, they're warnings, reflections of a spiritual landscape scarred by certain events or intentions. From a cultural studies viewpoint, these narratives serve a crucial function. They define boundaries of acceptable behavior, they personify evil, and they reinforce communal values by presenting the dire consequences of transgressing them. The Black Monastery becomes a symbolic inverse of a holy sanctuary, a place of ultimate transgression.
Exactly. And losing these stories means losing a part of our collective soul, a part of the spiritual map of our land. These aren't just fairy tales, they are historical records of emotional landscapes, often encoded in metaphor. I've heard whispers of places where the ground is said to be hungry, absorbing all joy and light. Imagine walking over soil that has witnessed generations of dark pacts, where the very stones absorb malevolence like sponges. Have you ever stood in a place that made your skin crawl, not because of what you saw, but what you felt? That inexplicable dread, that's the echo of a Black monastery.
I'm more inclined to attribute such feelings to the power of suggestion, or perhaps the liminal state of certain environments, deep forests, desolate ruins, which naturally evoke a sense of unease. Still, I concede the power of such narratives to shape perception. If a community believes a place is cursed, its members will experience it as such, and their interactions with it will reinforce that belief. Could some Black monasteries have been actual sites of persecution, where people deemed heretical or dangerous were imprisoned or executed, leading to a collective memory of dread and suffering?
That is a very plausible historical route for some of these legends, Vadim. Sites of suffering, whether from persecution or self-inflicted dark practices, can certainly gain a reputation for malevolence. Consider the sheer power of human intention. If individuals dedicated their lives or even sacrificed them to invoke dark powers in a specific location, the residual energy, to me, would be palpable. It's not just about the narrative, it's about the energetic imprint.
So you are arguing for a kind of psycho-spiritual residue. It's a compelling thought experiment, linking human intent directly to the environmental atmosphere. Historically, many early monastic sites were chosen for their isolation, for their wildness, places where one could truly separate from the mundane world. This isolation, while conducive to spiritual pursuit, could also, in the popular imagination, become associated with something hidden, something other, easily demonized if practices diverged from the norm.
And that other is what draws me. What was so other that it became branded as black? Was it simply different or genuinely sinister? I believe it's a mix. Some places probably earned their dark reputation due to human cruelty and fear, as you suggested. But others, I genuinely feel, are linked to older, darker currents in the earth, energies that predate human morality and are simply raw and dangerous.
That brings us to a fascinating dual conclusion. From a historical and psychological standpoint, these Black monasteries are powerful cultural constructs. They represent the communal anxieties about transgression, about the unknown, about the consequences of straying from the light. They are cautionary tales designed to instill a healthy respect for boundaries.
Yes, and from my perspective, they are also a testament to the enduring power of places and to the echoes of human intent, both good and ill. They remind us that there are forces at play we may not fully comprehend, and that wisdom often lies in respecting the old warnings, even if we don't fully understand their origins. Whether literal sanctuaries of evil or powerful symbolic markers, they tell us profound truths about ourselves and our ancestors.
Exactly. They are a rich tapestry of history, folklore, and the enduring human fascination with the dark side of existence. Understanding them allows us to glimpse the fears and beliefs that shaped our ancestors' worldviews. So, Helena, what lesson do you hope our listeners take from these forgotten sanctuaries?
To remember them, to acknowledge that the shadows are as much a part of our heritage as the light. These stories aren't just about fear. They're about understanding boundaries, about respecting the power of hidden forces, and about recognizing that even the darkest parts of our past hold crucial lessons for the present. Whether literal sanctuaries of evil or powerful symbolic markers, they tell us profound truths about ourselves and our ancestors.
Exactly. They are a rich tapestry of history, folklore, and the enduring human fascination with the dark side of existence. Understanding them allows us to glimpse the fears and beliefs that shaped our ancestors' worldviews. So, Helena, what lesson do you hope our listeners take from these forgotten sanctuaries?
To remember them, to acknowledge that the shadows are as much a part of our heritage as the light. These stories aren't just about fear. They're about understanding boundaries, about respecting the power of hidden forces, and about recognizing that even the darkest parts of our past hold crucial lessons for the present. Whether literal sanctuaries of evil or powerful symbolic markers, they tell us profound truths about ourselves and our ancestors.
Exactly. They are a rich tapestry of history, folklore, and the enduring human fascination with the dark side of existence. Understanding them allows us to glimpse the fears and beliefs that shaped our ancestors' worldviews. So, Helena, what lesson do you hope our listeners take from these forgotten sanctuaries?
To remember them, to acknowledge that the shadows are as much a part of our heritage as the light. These stories aren't just about fear. They're about understanding boundaries, about respecting